everybody. Welcome to the Prism Awards for 2021, finally. I'm really excited to be here today and to welcome all of you to our final award ceremony. I know many of you have been waiting a long time. It's been quite a while since we announced our finalists, but we are really excited and it's here. So we'll get started with some of our introductions. We're the committee that works together to help make the Prism Awards possible every year with a wonderful chair or other individuals and volunteers like our judges who are helping us out. So my name is Nina Taylor Kester. My pronouns are sort of all over the place at times. So you can use she, he, they, or whatever awesome pronouns come forward for you when we meet. I am a co-founder of the Prism Awards. I am a longtime sort of confidant with the Prism Comics organization, which is an amazing nonprofit. I have founded the Queer Comics Expo, which I also facilitate and coordinate each year. And I also am the program coordinator at the Cartoon Art Museum in San Francisco, down by Fisherman's Wharf. And we're really excited to see it. Let's meet some of my co-collaborators.
Hi again. My name is Gladys Ochoa. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the current chair of the Prism Awards. I identify as Latinx, and you can see me often doodling like these amazing raccoons behind me. It's great to see everyone again.
Thank you. I'm Ted Ebenheim. I'm president of Prism Comics, which was founded in 2003 to champion LGBTQ, IA comics creators, professionals, readers, educators, librarians, everybody that reads comics and makes comics. I'm a co-founder with Nina of the Prism Awards, and we're glad to have everybody here.
Ted, can you kind of take it away and tell us what is the Prism Awards all about?
We wanted to acknowledge works by queer comics creators that promote positive, challenging, innovative, and diverse representations of LGBTQAI characters and stories in both nonfiction and fiction comics. So Prism, the Cartoon Art Museum, and the Queer Comics Expo, we all got together about 5 years ago, and with Maya Kobabe, who was our first chairperson, started the Prism Awards. Gladys came on last year and this year as our chair. And the awards are recognition of excellence in queer comics by queer comics creators, peers, and allies in the comics profession. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Ted. And it has been a kind of bizarre time to do these awards and create this recognition. It really started as a physical thing that was in person, but our perception of that as important has changed for us and for many. We are taking the shakeup as a chance for new exploration. And in doing that, for the first time, we've added a new category to the original 5. And we chose to add young reader because of our dedication to preventing the harm done to us in our youth through a lack of representation, and also wanting to foster the future of what queer identities are and can be. We, of course, also chose it because there's so much amazing young queer comics out there. I just can't keep up, and it's a great feeling to have. On the other side, these awards are also important because we are seeing numerous challenges to queer comics and racial justice literature during the pandemic. Unfortunately, there are those who still don't understand that queer people were also queer as children and are queer as children right now. And they need to know there's nothing wrong with who they are and how they feel. And those books and media need to be out there for them. These challenges include long-standing ones like Fun Home by Alison Bechdel and Drama by Raina Telgemeier. and newer material like Check Please by Ngozi Ukazu and The Adventures of Captain Underpants by Dave Pilkey, books like Meg, Joe, Beth, and Amy by Ray Terciero and Brie Indigo, and one of the Prism Awards founders, Maya Kobabe's Genderqueer, and even books that are finalists this year. And so when this happens, it's really important to show up as the community. We ask that both our community and allies please purchase or request these books at your local library to show the need and importance. And we hope that you will do the same each year for the amazing works represented among the finalists and winners. And with that, it is my privilege to hand things off to our amazing chair, Gladys Ochoa, so that we can recognize all of our finalists and finally get to find out who the winners are. Take it away, Gladys.
Thank you so much, Nina. To start the awards, I'll discuss how it works. So all the eligible comics are printed or posted online between January 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2020. The way judging takes place is all judges are by invitation to select artists, editors, writers, and creators with ties to the industry. Judges get to pick their top 3 categories they're interested in judging, and then they get to be placed in one. And after that, they have a couple of months to judge the submissions and deliberate. And with that, I shall pass you to Ted.
Well, thank you. I just want to add that not only will you hear from each winner in each category, but we also have videos from the finalists talking about what their works and what queer comics means to them, because all the voices are important.
Thanks, Ted. So our first category is short form, a self-published or traditionally published comic of 32 pages or less. And presenting this category is one of our judges, William Wood Tyler, co-editor of Theater of Terror, Revenge of the Queers, one of their very first queer horror anthologies, and co-host of the Cinephilia Film Review podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm comic creator and critic William O. Tyler, and I'm also one of the judges for the Prism Awards short form category this year, and I'm here to announce the winner. I know as creatives, we often get swept up in this idea of creating big, epic, meaningful stories, but sometimes all we need is that slice of life or one and done type of story to express what we want to say. Even if we are aspiring newcomers or seasoned creators, the short form storytelling method is very important for helping us to get very blatant and concise ideas that we want to express through. And sometimes that makes that expression even more meaningful. So we had a lot of great entries for the category this year. And here are our top 3 as the nominees. The first nominee is God Sees Me Crying in the Bathroom Stall by Vinci Lin. The next nominee is Cat Person number 3 by Dylan Edwards. And finally, we have The Unfading Flower by Harry Connor. And without further ado, the winner of the short form category is God Sees Me Crying in the Bathroom Stall by Vinci Lim. So congratulations to Vinci Lim and also to the rest of our nominees and all of the great entries that we got for this category. I'd also like to say thank you to my fellow judges for helping me judge this category, which was a lot of fun. And hope everyone's doing well. Take care.
First off, hello everybody, happy to be here as a finalist for the Prism Awards. It's honestly such an honor, especially as a fairly new and experimental cartoonist whose work doesn't fit the look or feel of typical comics publishing. My comic, God Sees Me Crying in the Bathroom Stall, was my first look towards my feelings about being non-binary and the experiences I have had throughout my life that has made me content or invalidated, but overall has made me who I am. When making this short comic, I took a bunch of papers, folded them, and stapled them together and said, okay, I'm making a comic. And like many of my recent comics, I wrote and drew it without any prior planning or knowledge about what the comic would be like. It is entirely formed from my subconscious, the words influencing my art influencing my words, back and forth like a game of sorts. I really believe in the practice of using comics as a therapeutic resource in which one can take their abstract thoughts and ground them into something concrete. And in the case of comics, something physical that you can actually hold in your hands and read again and again to analyze and comprehend yourself in this moment of time. By doing this, you learn about yourself and about your complexities and understand what the issue is at hand and how to get better. I think of this and this practice in my work. I think and practice this a lot in my work. Since this process is so messy, I really let it show as the pencil bleeds into the pages prior and smudged together. Comics are a terribly time-consuming and time and energy-consuming medium, and I think and feel like any art medium, as we strive for perfection, there are many like myself who dive into the idea of this gritty, ugly quality that perfectionists hate. My pencil smudges, I don't draw hands with 5 fingers, I don't do comics with planos and borders, and the imagery bleeds to the edges, which makes it tricky to print. But I think it's such a fun process at the same time because of it. I think trauma and understanding oneself is messy. My work is always messy because I am messy, and I think that's beautiful, and one day I'll apply that beauty to myself, I hope. There's a lot of complexities with this comic, not only with being non-binary, but about being disabled and being abused because of it, and others saying that I'm perfect the way I am, but not accepting myself at the same breath. About the contentness that one can feel with being trans, but ultimately how feeling that feels some days. But how there are others like us that we can have a sense of home, even if we have to make it ourselves. I've been thinking about that sense of home, that sense of belonging, especially as a long-term abuse survivor who has recently finally escaped and is in a safe living environment, ironically with non-binary roommates. I think of how there was room for people like me and how doing simple things like going on road trips with friends without feeling invalidated or lonely or not being able to be your true self is something that we can achieve, and we all deserve the simplest and beautiful things, even if it's just holding our arms out and feeling the cold winter air holding us in its warmth. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dylan Edwards, and I'm honored to be nominated for a Best Short Form Comic Award for my mini-comic, Cat Person No. 3. As with the other Cat Person issues I've released, this mini collects some of my autobiographical comics focusing on the intersections of my queer, asexual, and trans identities. This issue includes a story about my asexual headcanon for Luke Skywalker, a recounting of my trip to a trans guy bar in Japan, a discussion of banned books, and a humorous look at trans guy bathroom anxiety. Cat Person No. 3 was originally supposed to debut at TCAF in Toronto in May of 2020. That didn't happen for obvious reasons, but what can you do? And since conventions are where my zines tend to get the most traction, this is one of those publications that kind of got swallowed by the pandemic. Which means it's especially gratifying to have it be nominated for an award, since it offers some recognition to a comic that not too many people have actually gotten to see. So, Cat Person No. 3. It's backwards, because I don't know how to flip a video. But this is what the cover looks like. Anyway, thank you very much for the nomination, and congrats to the other nominees. And let's all go read some queer comics.
Hi, my name's Harry Connor. I'm the author and illustrator of The Unfading Flower, which is a short adult comic I put out last year online. First, I just wanted to say thank you. There are so many incredible nominees in every category. It's so exciting to see like the vibrance and range of what's happening in queer comics at the moment, like let alone to be recognized. And you know, like as a pre-internet kid, I assumed you weren't even allowed to have queer people in books or comics because I barely saw them. So it's just amazing to see how far things have come, both online and in self-publishing as well as in the mainstream. There's so much really interesting stuff out there. I'm very honoured to be alongside a lot of other amazing comic work in any capacity. The Unfading Flower is a more experimental and in some ways vulnerable comic than some of my like long-form day job comics. A lot of it is about queer longing, like both desire and for community, as well as the pressure to like assimilate. Like the pressure to present yourself in a particular palatable way or shrink yourself to fit one neat box, whether that's to access trans medical care or to be accepted and just like tolerated by the people around you. It is also a like weird monster girlfriend comic about HRT that's based on a plant species and like a quote from Paradise Lost. So it's this very specific thing I wanted to make. And it's like a celebration of living as yourself, even if that is messy or unpalatable or hard to understand for society. And like if society doesn't like it, finding joy outside of that. So yeah, I just wanted to say it's really an honor to be recognized for making a weird personal comic, and I'm so excited for like queer comics now and to see all the weird, beautiful stories that people are going to tell in the future as well.
Our next category is webcomics, which are comics that are published primarily or initially online. And to introduce the finalists is Prism Comics board member Victor Kearney, who is the creator of the comic Strangelore and host of the Megashine podcast, which is a bi-weekly podcast on gay and geek culture from the perspective of queer people of color.
Hello, my name is Victor Kearney. I am one of the board members of Prism Comics, and I had the pleasure of serving as a judge for the webcomic category this year. We had a lot of great submissions, and when it comes to webcomics, that is the go-to place for many of us who want to see different types of stories, to see ourselves in these stories, and to see how far and creative our writers and artists go when it comes to presenting some of the best writing and the best experiences you can have with webcomics. But this year, as we went through so many selections, we had 3 finalists. So the first finalist is Superpose. Writer and artist was Samoa. I'm saying the name wrong, so I apologize. Artist and writer Anka was also another person involved with Superpose. Shade Runners, artist was Alex Essen and writer was Lindera. And A Guide to Healthy Relationship, created by Cooper. And the winner, Superpose by both Samoa and Anka. Thank you so much. This was a great story. I would recommend for y'all to check it out. It was really good. The art was good and the story was good. So please check that out. And congratulations to our winners.
Thank you so much for recognizing Superpose at this year's Prism Awards. Superpose is not the kind of work that makes me forget the difficulties of the world around me, but making a challenging work of art for as long as we have been, and having it received with a lot of love and excitement and recognition from readers and the Prism Awards has been invaluable since the day that we started. So thank you very much.
The past year and a half has been very difficult in terms of both making art and also doing all of the work surrounding and supporting making that art. So taking care of a home or finding a home to live in. But we've been making Superpose since 2016, and circumstances for us personally have been, similar to the past 1.5 years in COVID. So the work that we make as a long form story with a sort of sprawling plot line and a bunch of different odds and ends is maybe not suited to those circumstances, but it does feel like the most raw and honest type of work. I can't really imagine making something different. And it's unfortunate that so many artists have to choose between making this type of work or any work and being able to live. And I hope that in a more benevolent system that would not be such a difficult choice. And yeah, Superpose means a lot to me, and if stories like this or any art that moves you, if you find that, please share and talk to people about it. It goes a long way. You might have to not have a projected relationship with it, but a more understanding, and in that way, a personally intimate relationship with that work. In terms of knowing the labor that goes into it and its resonant value for you. So finding the people who make it and being considerate of the circumstances in which it's made, and finding stores or Patreon or whatever, and talking to people about it, that's very important, and I know personally we're extremely grateful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello to everyone at the Prism Awards. My name is Lynn, and I'm the writer for the webcomic Shade Runners. I just wanted to say thank you to the Prism Awards for this honor. It truly is an honor. Shade Runners is a crime of passion that Alex and I embarked on together, full of all of the niche things that we really wanted to see more of in the webcomics world. Chief among that being film noir, which nobody really likes in the 21st century. It feels like, at least, uncomplicated queerness, even as the characters themselves are hopefully incredibly complicated and messy. Um, Heists and opera and all of these random interests that we have, we threw into one comic. So if it resonates with anyone, I'm very grateful for that. I'm very happy for that, because it really came out of a very passionate, excitable place, of all of the things we love through a queer lens. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to read all of the other comics that have been nominated alongside us. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the artist of the webcomic Shade Runners, and I wanted to say thank you for this honor. It's really amazing to have the work that Lynn and I have been doing for so long be recognized like this. We started Shade Runners 6 years ago, and I'll be the first to admit we had no idea what we were getting into. It's been really hard work, but also really wonderful, and by far it's been the highlight of my comic career. So we just never expected it to, I guess, reach people and to have any kind of audience. We did it because we wanted to tell the story. But it ended up growing a lot, with us, and, finding people who liked it, I guess, and that's been pretty amazing. So just, yeah, in general, pretty incredible, and thank you again.
Hey, I'm Copper, creator of the Guide to a Healthy Relationship. I have an interesting origin story for my comic. Around 2015 or so, I was going through an existential crisis, and I'm one of those weirdos who enjoys exploring trauma, horror, mental health, the human condition, wholesome stuff like that. And the comic was pretty much born from that, and I've been working on it ever since, and it's been a very helpful experience for me. It's put a lot of things into perspective. It's helped me a lot with softening my views on other people, and I'm kind of hoping to reach out to people like me, people who would find catharsis in reading a story like mine, just as I've found catharsis in creating it. And the story is essentially what I mentioned. It's extremely flawed people trying to work through their trauma and their mental health. And, it's a trial and error thing. They make bad decisions. They're not too great to each other. They can be a bit on the problematic side. And, that's kind of how people are. We make bad decisions sometimes. We can be problematic. And, I just wanted to do some kind of human story like that. And I was actually on the fence about submitting my comic to the Prism Awards. I wasn't sure if something like that would really fit because of, the nature of it. But, I've been at a loss for words since hearing about it, about getting this honor. And, I really want to thank all of you. It's really cool. And I want to thank the teams at Prism and the QCE, the Cartoon Art Museum. They've all been working really hard to put the Prism Wars together and the Queer Comic Expo, and I really appreciate you all. You guys are all awesome people, and thank you again. Have a great day.
Our next category is small to mid-size press, a comic that is self-published or produced by a small or medium publisher. And here to announce our finalists is Nikki Rodriguez. Nikki is the creator of the webcomic The Unlucky Ones and The Edge of Nowhere, now available on Webtoons.
My name is Nikki Rodriguez. I'm a comic artist and flatter and creator of the webcomic The Unlucky Ones and The Edge of Nowhere. I'm pleased to have had the honor to be one of the judges for this year's Prism Awards in the small to mid-size press category. It was a wonderful experience to read through everyone's work and see how these artists continue to explore the nuances of queer experience in their comics. The finalists for the small to mid-size press category this year are How to Be Ace, a memoir of growing up asexual by Rebecca Burgess, Sasha from the Gym by Otava Hekila, and To Cut by Noelle Whitney. And the Prism Award winner this year in the small to mid-size press category is To Cut by Noella Whitney. Congratulations on your win, Noella, and congratulations to Otava and Rebecca for being finalists. I hope you all get a chance to celebrate this occasion.
Hello everyone, I'm Noella Whitney, the creator, writer, and artist for To Cut. First, I'd like to say thank you for this honor. I'm excited to be a finalist again, and for the sequel to Measure, the work that won my first ever comics award. I produced To Cut while working full-time in Japan, so the pandemic actually allowed me to stay home and finish it without feeling guilty for not going outside and seeing new parts of that beautiful country. The series follows two women, Ida the human and Osa the werewolf, as they fall in love and merge their two worlds into one. In this second installment, Osa's werewolf mother comes to town, and she does not like that her daughter has mated with a human. These characters and their world is my own little butch lesbian dreamland where I get to play around and explore and affirm what I'd like my own future to look like. I hope others can do the same when they read it, or at least live out their Masks for Mass dreams. In this comic, I explore the relationship we have with our parents and how that bond does and doesn't change as we get older. Us queers have a tendency to have a delicate relationship with them, though through increased visibility and an education that seems to be changing. Actually, there's a line in there that Dia, the werewolf mom, says that was lifted directly from a conversation I had with my own mother. If you ever had a fraught relationship with a parent because of your sexuality or gender, I hope this work can bring you some smidge of comfort or even closure. And if you're just here for the lesbian werewolves, you're valid too. I'd like to thank the judges for their hard work reading through all of the submissions, my own parents, and my butch moms for supporting and guiding me when I have felt lost. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Otava Heikkilä. I'm the author of Sasha from the Gym. Sasha from the Gym is a comic about two trans men who keep meeting each other at the gym late at night and the hookups that follow in this liminal space outside the waking hours. I'm very excited for this comic to be recognized by the Prism Awards. Thank you so much for the honor. At the time I made this comic, I was frustrated with the lack of trans men shown in fiction, especially depictions that go beyond educating the audiences about transition. I wanted to make something that feels real and thrilling at the same time, concerning the intimacy between two trans men. Now in 2021, I'm especially glad to see Prism Awards recognize work that displays themes of sexuality and sex acts as worth celebrating, as small creators and sex workers alike are running out of spaces to publish their adult work online, and are facing being removed from platforms they helped build, or losing access to their sources of income as large corporations shut down payment processors from those that dare create adult content of any kind. Human sexuality and queer self-expression are essential parts of the field of art, and it's in our interests as artists to fight for the rights of sex workers everywhere and against the increasing conservative privatization of online spaces. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for this recognition. I really appreciate being nominated because I absolutely love about half of the comics that have been nominated in these awards. So I feel amazing to be up there with all these brilliant artists that I already love and follow. So thank you for that. It's really nice for a book about asexuality to be nominated because a lot of people, most people who I talk to who are asexual, they get told that their sexuality doesn't exist, or that they're going through a phase, or that they're trying to be special, and makes them feel like it's not real. So the idea that a comic like mine could be nominated for an award, I think will mean a lot to all of the readers that have messaged me, telling them how much the book means to them, and this award will mean a lot to them as well, because it makes them feel like asexuality is real and a thing that exists, and it could be validated. So thank you.
Our next category is mainstream publisher. This is a comic book or graphic novel published by one of the large mainstream publishers. Our finalists are The Low, Low Woods, published by DC Comics, written by Carmen Maria Machado and Joe Hill, with art by Dan McDade and Danny Strips. Juliet Takes a Breath, published by Boom Studios, written by Gabby Rivera and illustrated by Celia Muscote, and colors by James Fenner, and lettered by DC Hopkins. And The Deep and Dark Blue, published by Little Brown Books for Young Readers, created by Nikki Smith. And the winner is The Low, Low Woods, published by DC Comics, written by Carmen Maria Machado and Joe Hill, with art by Dan McDade and Danny Strips. And while the creators were not available to appear for the ceremony, we are excited to congratulate all of them on their award and achievement for mainstream comics in the Prism Awards.
Hello, Prism Awards. My name is Gabby Rivera, and I am a writer and a comic book creator. My book, Juliet Takes a Breath, started as a young adult fiction novel and is now a graphic novel illustrated by Celia Muscote. And I just am so thankful to be here and to be involved with the Prism Awards. Graphic novels are everything. They are filled with lush illustrations and perfect like quotes and snippets of our most intimate moments in life, right? Like you get to see what folks are actually going through by their own hands, their own drawings, their own like, you know, magic essentially. And taking my book and turning it into a graphic novel was a really fun process. And I am so thankful that I worked with Shannon from Boom Studios as the editor. She brought me together with Celia Muscote, who is like an incredible illustrator and just someone I am so thankful that I got to work with. And together we crafted this graphic novel adaptation, if you will. And so essentially I went through my book, Juliet Takes a Breath, and found the timeline that worked best for me. I followed pretty much how it all works out in the book, but I also really pulled into focus some moments that I felt didn't get enough shine. It was important for me in the Juliet graphic novel for Juliet's body to be really and wholly present. It was important for Juliet's body to be thick and beautiful and delicious. And Celia's drawings just made that happen. I wanted to feel romantic and gorgeous. And bam, just look at that. Look at Juliet like a chubby cherub on the back of Kira's motorcycle. Look at it. Yeah, I wanted the graphic novel to just spring to life and wrap everybody up in ooey gooey queer goodness. So thank you so much. Super honored to be part of the Prism family. And yeah, good luck to everybody and all their amazing work as well.
Hi, this is Nikki Smith, the author of The Deep and Dark Blue. Thank you so much for this recognition. There have been so many incredible queer comics published over the last few years, and being counted as one of them is an amazing honor.
The next category is anthology, a comic by at least 4 different authors and artists, either self-published or traditionally published. And the finalists are Alba Comics, a Queer Prisoners Anthology Volume 4, published by Alba Comics, edited by Casper Sandra. Ambrosia, Trans Mask and Non-Binary Erotic Comics, edited by Tab Kingdom and Jade Sarson. Confined Before COVID-19, a pandemic anthology by LGBTQ prisoners, published by Alba Comics, edited by Casper Sandra. And without further ado, our winner for this year's anthology category goes to Alba Comics, a Queer Prisoners Anthology Volume 4, published by Alba Comics, edited by Casper Sandra. Congratulations!
Hello! Hello, I'm Casper, and this is Ollie, and we're from ABO Comics.
And we just wanted to say thank you so much for this honor. It's incredibly gratifying to be recognized alongside the creators of the Ambrosia anthology. Y'all are doing such an amazing job, and it's an honor to be in a category with you.
We've been so thrilled to have the support of Prism Comics the last couple years. You all have really helped us in supporting our mission to amplify the voices of LGBT incarcerated artists through the comics medium, so thank you so very much.
Your support has been especially powerful for us this year because we're navigating a global pandemic. We have been for some time, and we will be into the future.
And it's hit our friends in prison especially hard this last year. Many people have lost family members on the outside, or they've lost friends on the inside due to the pandemic. It's been a very, very difficult time, and it means a lot to be able to help share the stories of the people who are experiencing these sorts of things inside prison.
Over the past year, we've been redoubling our fundraising efforts to provide our friends inside with secure access to food and clothing, gender-affirming items, medical care, and just emotional support through a really difficult time in our lives.
And we're very excited to be able to share the anthology that we put together in collaboration with 50 incarcerated artists with you. So thank you so much again for this incredible honor. We could not be more thrilled.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for nominating Ambrosia, especially as this marks the second time this series of erotic anthologies has been recognised by the Prism Awards. I'm Tab Kimpton, co-editor of both Come Together and Ambrosia, and it's definitely been a tough year to run an anthology, with even myself often questioning why something like a smutty book needs deadlines when there's so much else going on in the world.
but we need comics like this now more than ever, not just as escapism, but as realism. Bodies like these exist in myth and modernity. We truly realise when reading through our open call for submissions that this is just a tiny taste of flavours, delights and desires that span the trans and non-binary spectrum, and I can't wait to see what other books serve up. We want to thank not only all our artists for going above and beyond during an incredibly stressful and unerotic time, but also everyone who submitted pitches. Thank you for trusting us with these stories. Finally, a big thank you to Aidan G.D. Moore, whose pitch to come together inspired Ambrosia, and our first confirmed artist who helped us with the difficult decision of what stories work best within the theme of our anthology.
Hi, I'm Jade Sarson, a previous contributor to Tab's series of anthologies in Come Together, and now co-editor of Ambrosia. It's a totally different experience getting to collaborate with all of the creators in an anthology instead of working as an individual, and I really cherished that role. The anthology gave us the opportunity to raise trans and non-binary voices that aren't normally heard, from less experienced artists to seasoned creators, who in turn had a platform to show that there's so many ways to tell a really delicious erotic trans story. Sometimes it feels like good trans representation is like hunting for scraps. And we wanted a book that people could finally feast on.
Our final category is Young Readers. This is a brand new category, and the Young Readers Award is for comics whose target audience is ages 13 and under, regardless of the publisher size. It's my honor to introduce Avery Kaplan, who is a journalist for The Beat and also for Prism Comics, who will be presenting the finalists as well as the winner for the first year of the Young Readers Award.
Hello, my name is Avery Kaplan. I was honored to be one of the judges in the Young Readers category. I'm also the features editor at Comics Beat and the comm officer at Prism Comics. It's so important for LGBTQ comics to be accessible to young readers because for some young queer people, that's the only place in their lives they can see themselves. The 3 finalists in the category for young readers are The Deep and Dark Blue by Nikki Smith, The Magic Fish by Trung Le Nguyen, and Space Battle Lunchtime Volume 3, A Dish Best Served Cold by Natalie Reese. And the winner is The Deep and Dark Blue by Nikki Smith. Congratulations.
Hi, this is Nikki Smith, the author of The Deep and Dark Blue. Thank you so much for this recognition. There have been so many incredible queer comics published over the last few years, and being counted as one of them is an amazing honor. Thank you so much for loving Grace and Hawk and their story as much as I love drawing it.
Hi everyone, my name is Trung Le Nguyen, and I am the artist and author behind the graphic novel The Magic Fish, and I'm so delighted and so honored to be nominated for a Prism Award. Thank you so much. The Magic Fish was such a meaningful story for me to tell because it's necessarily a coming out story. It's a coming out story that takes place over 20 years ago, so it's in the past in the mundane world, and it takes place in the past in this imaginary fantasy world too. And I wanted to get the point across that the ways that we understand ourselves and the languages that we use to describe ourselves will change and evolve over time. And for that reason, coming out stories will always matter. We'll always need new ones because the ways that we express ourselves will continue to change. And I think that's really lovely. I also want to extend a special thank you to all of the folks at Random House Graphic, to Gina Gagliano, to Whitney Leopard, to Patrick Crody, to Nicole Valdez, and to my flatter Robin Faisal. All of these folks helped make The Magic Fish something really beautiful and something that I'm really proud to put out into the world.
Hi,
Hi, my name is Natalie Reese, and I made the series Space Battle Lunchtime, Volume 3 of which I have right here. So first I would like to thank my editor, Robin Herrera, without whom the entire series wouldn't exist, so thank you so much. Also, I wanted to thank her specifically for letting me go with this cover design over the others. I just think it turned out nicely, and I'm really glad that she gave me a lot of freedom with this series to, make a good book. I also want to thank my partner, Sarah Getter. She is my partner both creatively and romantically, and she inspires me every day. She helped me specifically for this book rework a bunch of jokes, and I think it's stronger for it. So yeah, thank you so much for the honor, and thank you for reading.
Congratulations to all the winners and all the finalists. All of your books were terrific. And we also want to thank everybody that submitted to the Prism Awards. Everybody's voice is important. And the representation across all gender identities, backgrounds, and everything was just amazing. So we thank you. All of your voices are important.
Thank you, everyone. Winners, finalists, and everyone who submitted. We'd also like to acknowledge all the judges in each category, starting with the webcomics category. In our webcomics category, we have Becky Hawkins, Noella Whitney, Lawrence Lindell, Victor Kearney, and Juan Mance. Those who participate in the short form category is Remus Jackson, William Wood Tyler, and Trinidad Escobar.
For small and mid-sized press, the judges were Hari Connor, Nikki Rodriguez, Jasmine Simone, Blue Delaquanti, and Rob McMonigal. And for mainstream, Shannon Lee and Nick Porter.
We also like to thank the anthology judges, Malik Lilly, Gillian Pascasio, Alex Hoffman, and Hunter Rook. And thank you to the first year of judges for young readers, Avery Kaplan, Ronetta Robertson, Josh Trujillo, Greg A. Elisi, and AJ Rial.
And thank you all for watching the Prism Awards. Please look for these creators, buy their books, ask for them to be carried in your local libraries or wherever else you can find them. Support queer comics.
Be sure to look for an announcement at the start of the year about submitting for the 2022 Prism Awards. We look forward to all of your new work, everyone.
Thank you so much. We are so excited. This was so much fun, and we are so excited to do it all over again. We'll see you all in the new year. Be well.